for all of these athletes. Well, Elin Lada leads 5 Lada sisters. That's a lot of Ladas, as we like to say. The whole team there from the South Texas homeschool Heat as they come up here from the Lone Star State. So the battle on the team side is going to be a lot of fun, and the individuals, we'll be seeing these individuals throughout the rest of the season and far into the postseason. So if you are familiar with high school running, if you're here watching with us, you know what this one means. There's a couple other athletes we'll mention as well once we get rolling, but plenty of top-end quality, plenty of depth. I mean, it doesn't get much better than having number one in the nation there with Avery Lowen, undefeated this year, just dominating.
Yeah, I really like the storyline behind us. We have 2 of the top teams in Tennessee, Brentwood and Webb School. They've raced each other for decades. They know each other very, very well. They race against each other during the season constantly. You know, from Tennessee, they're used to this similar. They've got hilly courses over there. This kind of weather is also pretty normal. Carolina's not that far away from them. They know this course very well. But the Lada sisters, you mentioned, the homeschool team, they're coming from South Texas. I coached in Austin for a long time, so there's going to be some advantages that they have here, but some disadvantages as well. This is probably going to be the hilliest course they've seen. There's not a lot of hilly courses down in South Texas, so managing this very quick downhill start, managing that very long uphill. But the advantage that they have is they're used to hot and humid courses all year round. It's absolutely brutal running in South Texas, and we've got some really cool, a little bit of fall in the air, not quite cold yet, cool enough for some really fast running. So curious how the South Texas team will stand up against the best of the Southeast, which is mostly Tennessee teams.
Well, Lily Alder representing well for Tipview as well, quite the program there from Utah. She's raced at a lot of the biggest meets in cross country and on the track, and was the 800-meter champion running 2:05 outdoors this past season. So Alder representing for her state. She was actually born in the area here in North Carolina, so a bit of a homecoming for her. We'll see who goes out to the early lead. You have to think it's going to be a couple of those 3. I don't think anybody's going to break away too early, but Avery Lowen, again, having dominated much of the competition throughout the year, being undefeated, number 1 in the nation. She fell at the start of the NXN last year and finished 78th overall, so you have to think that's kind of been in the back of her mind all summer long, coming into this season, a bit of a redemption tour for Avery Lowen, and it continues today.
Yeah, Lowen usually likes to go out pretty quick. I think that's her over on the right as she starts to kind of move over. There's about 3 girls that are going out a little bit faster than everybody else. I've seen Lowen race a handful of times. She obliterated a very tough course record at Wingfoot, so she is in great form right now. She knows this course as well, as no stranger to it, so expect her to have a lot of advantages as she's in great form, knows the course. That's what you like to see from a returner.
Lada, another one who is just so experienced. A great summer season, competed at the Brooks PR Invite, the Music City Track Carnival, where she won the 3,200 meters and has just gotten better and better. I mean, one of the fastest freshmen of all time. Now we see her as a 10th grader and just seems to show no signs of slowing. I love seeing when the youngsters are so good so early. Again, we talk about you can take a lot of different paths to the pinnacle of our sport, certainly, but it's so impressive when athletes just are so good so young, and that mental side, the psychology, the confidence that comes with running well young and not being intimidated by racing against some of the best in the country.
Yeah, and speaking of best in the country, that is Avery Lowen going straight to the front and trying to open up a gap. Just watching the way she's running right now, she's being very aggressive early in this race. If this was a younger athlete who didn't know this course, I might be a little worried being over-aggressive with those hills yet to come on the back half, but she knows this race very well. She's run some very fast times, getting a little bit of a lead here, maybe trying to just right off the bat break the will of her competitors, say, yeah, there's all this hype, yeah, there's all these great athletes coming down to carry North Carolina for Wake Med, but there's only one that's going to win today, and it's me. Maybe that's what she's trying to do early, send a message to her competitors, because she is certainly on the gas pedal hard early in this race.
As we said, undefeated this year is Lowen. Bob Blasto Invite early on, the Ortho West Invite, that Wingfoot Classic, as you mentioned, where she ran 16:28. She is just so strong and has just gotten better and better. We see her already, as you said, out in front, taking advantage of the downhill. Hey, if you can control it, if you know the course, this is something that it can be tough to reel in. We talked about it in some of the in the other sections, but how about when you're looking at the back of the number one runner in the nation? That's a little bit different flavor.
Yeah, and the way that this course works, where we are right now, if you can get just even a 50-meter gap, you're almost out of sight of everybody behind you, and that's a huge psychological advantage. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. Now, similar to cycling, if you watch the Tour de France or you watch the Giro or the Vuelta, they talk a lot about if you can get out of sight from the peloton, it really kind of breaks the elastic, if you will, and makes not the peloton forget about you, but kind of lose hope that you're so far away that you're just not going to get reeled back in. And you can kind of see this in the camera shot. That's one of the longer stretches right there, only about 50 meters maybe. A lot of these twists and turns are more like 20 or 30 meters. And with every turn, Lowen's just getting a little bit farther away from the chase pack. And I guarantee you, if you're back in that chase pack, you're going, oh my gosh, I'm flying, and she's getting even farther away from me. What can I do?
You mentioned Caitlin Toohey, who had run 16:22 here, 16:02, the all-time Wake Med course record that came in 2022 for Morgantown's Irene Riggs. Toohey does still sit second on that list, but a lot of incredible names. Allie Zeeland has run well here. Abby Faith Cheeseman out of Tennessee for the Webb School a couple of years back, one of the top times as well. So Avery Lowen, you know, she knows this course as well, ran here last year, ran sub 17 minutes. So this is something where she knows this course, and we might have to keep an eye, a side eye, if you will, on the overall time as well.
Always. I think that we've said it over and over again, but the question will be that hill. And I have no doubt at Avery Lowen, because she's run this course many, many times. She handled Wingfoot, which is a very hilly course, and she just actually came through the mile sub 5. So we are rolling very, very quick here. My guess is, I mean, coming through the first mile sub 5 and knowing, you know, as capable as she is, that is a little too aggressive. She's not going to hold that. Now the question is, can she manage this gap? And knowing that the ladies behind her also went out very fast. They came through the mile at about 5:10, 5:15, extremely fast. I mean, those are sub 17 type times there. Now obviously that was the fastest part of the course. They're going to slow down coming uphill here, but maybe she's going so fast, thinking, hey, I'm going to try to pull everybody else with me, and if we just suffer over the last 2 miles, I can suffer better than anybody else. But that's going to be the question. Can she get over this hill, stay strong, and keep the momentum rolling once they get to the top of it?
Well, you can see nobody else in picture there, and there's a reason why she has ascended to number one in the nation. And Lowen is just making that case continuously throughout her season. And this would be another big win. We talked about taking down a loaded field. I mean, Lily Alder, who we said had a big win at Woodbridge, that was a big field with a number of top 25 runners in the nation. Well, we haven't even mentioned her once this race got started. And it's all been Avery Lowen out in front.
Yeah, as we get this drone shot, you can see the chase pack very, very competitive. And that's what I think is really interesting to think about here, is Avery Lowen's one of the best athletes in the country, but so are all these girls right here. And look at the gap she's opening from them right now.
Lowen had a great track season and was basically undefeated through the mile and 2 mile or 1,632 distances. Had a little bit of a sore Achilles, didn't really do much of the summer track. So, you know, sometimes that can be a blessing in disguise. A few less miles, she talked about, a little bit more weight training, you know, getting strong, taking a little bit of a breather, if you will. Sometimes we can just go right from one season into the next, and those summer miles, of course, so important, but also when you're at such a high level and so young, sometimes that rest is very important, and the body says, hey, you know what, something's a little sore or achy, I'm going to kind of force you to take a rest. Well, it seems to be working for Avery Lowen.
Yeah, I mean, that 16:28 at Wingfoot was just wild. I mean, that is such a challenging course, and to run so fast over it. It was pretty good conditions, good weather. But I think you're right, that rest. I think a lot of these high school athletes, they're really tempted to just constantly work harder and harder and harder, which is honestly refreshing, because when I was maybe 10, 15 years ago, probably more than that, when I was coming up through the high school ranks, it felt like it was impossible to kids to work harder. If you worked hard, you were immediately going to go to the. Now it's almost counterintuitive, and this is what I tell my professional athletes all the time. This is actually, working with Chrissy Gear this season, the American mile record holder. The thing I'm telling her every week is let's back off, let's slow down, let's take more rest. You have to be able to recover from things, and perhaps that, sore Achilles, obviously not the reason you want to take rest for Avery Lowen, but maybe a blessing in disguise, as you said, to get a little bit more rest, fully recover, and just get even stronger when you come out of it.
Well, whatever she has done up to this point has been working, as Avery Lowen is absolutely dominating this field, and the field is a great one. I mean, we are witnessing something very special here, and as you said, a fast first mile. We've got to keep an eye on the time. Only a handful of people have run under 17 minutes here on this course on the girls' side, and Lowen is one of them already, but she would love to move her name higher on that list.
Yeah, I think she is slowing down just a touch. I mean, that she did set a very, very aggressive early pace, so no surprise to see it come back down to earth just a little bit. But you said it. I mean, that first mile, so fast, getting through sub-5. She's bound to slow down a little bit, but if she can maintain it, I think we do have that course record on watch.
Well, and that would be something really spectacular in the annals of girls high school 5Ks over the cross-country distance. Names like Jenna Hutchins, Jane Hedengren competing at BYU now, and both of them, in fact. But, I mean, all-time greats in the sport at the high school level that have dipped under 16 minutes. And as we said, with that course record here, right at 16:02 from Irene Riggs, that would be something truly, truly inspirational from Lowen. But the conditions are good, and she's taking advantage of it. Yeah, you're right. Just looking at this all-time list, I mean, all of these athletes, it's funny how many of them ended up going to NC State, obviously one of the best programs in the country. This is kind of a cradle of distance running, especially in the Southeast. So many great runners in the Triangle area. Seeing Caitlin Toohey, Nevada Moreno, Kelsey Camille, Ryan Frazier, so many great athletes. And what's also interesting on here, you have Carolina Earhart here in the top 15 all-time on this course. She's in this race, and look at the gap that Avery Lowen's opening up. But now we look at that team battle as we get a little bit of insight into it. Webb of Knoxville, the Webb School, doing very well up front. James Robinson, Marvin Bridge. Not seeing Brentwood up there right now. Not seeing any of the Georgia schools I expected to compete as well. We'll see. Webb School, one of those schools year in and year out recently, who's just been so strong, sometimes at the top end and sometimes building that team out, just missing out on the Nationals as a team a year ago. We mentioned that earlier, but certainly with their sights set on good Nationals performance. Lowen's moving so fast we can't keep track of her here. I think the shutter rate, I think it's something to do with that. She's just moving too fast here. But 10:58:59 as we continue to clip on through, running through the woods. Avery Lowen dominating this very, very high-quality field.
I mean, she's pretty much just running by herself right now, has absolutely dusted the rest of the field. You can kind of peek in those corners of the shot, and you don't see anybody. I mean, this is dominant.
It was about 20 seconds on the last split there, the gap that is her lead. Checking her watch, well, she can look over her shoulder if she wants, but like you said, nobody even in picture. Avery Lowen absolutely taking care of business, trying to continue her undefeated season here. And especially in this day and age, social media, of course, with the meet live on Runner Space here, that people are watching, not just her competitors, not just the fans, but coaches and college coaches. This is an impressive, impressive display from Avery Lowen.
Well, you say people are watching. I'm getting texts right now from Evan Grace Hurley, one of the top runners in the United States of America. She's going out to race a half marathon in Valencia soon, being pressed as well.
People know this course. They know how challenging it is. And Avery Lowen knows the course certainly as well. And I guess I'm eating my words. I thought we might have had a few more athletes up there who had their eyes on at least hanging with the top dog here early on, but Avery Lowen made sure that nobody was even in picture from, really the absolute beginning of this race.
So looking back at that team battle, James Robinson up a little bit to 3,200. They've now got a couple points ahead of Webb. IMG Academy has moved up really well. But this last 1,800, this is really the hardest part of this course, especially that hill. So we still have a little bit till Avery Lowen gets back to that hill. You see that course tracker bottom left of your screen, 2 more winds, and then that last right-hand turn for her kind of brings her up to that hill.
Yeah, a very hot first mile, first 2K, as you said, for her, and settle in a little bit after that. It can be tough sometimes to, I don't know, we see different displays, I suppose, of dominance, but sometimes the iron sharpens iron, and sometimes she's just so far ahead that, you know, she's just racing the clock. I mean, it's hard to stay on that pace sometimes when you know you have the win, but already ranked number 1 in the nation, and she's showing why here today. Avery Lowen of Bowdoin representing Georgia and showing out very, very well here, looking very strong and comfortable, relaxed. She's just running well within herself, even with how fast this pace is.
And we're maybe 50 meters from the turn in the beginning of the hill. You see as it's starting to kind of go up just a little bit here. This will be the moment that separates her from the course record. Can she stay very strong right here? You see that incline going up. She can stay strong for the next 100, 200 meters. We'll have to keep a very close eye on that course record, as she will undoubtedly join, at least in the top 10, a list of extremely talented athletes. But how far up that list will she go?
As I said already, she's broken 17 minutes here, and to be fair, that course record, 16:02, it's a big, big gap back to Caitlin Toohey, who ran that 16:22, and then Allie Zealand in third there overall all-time at 16:34. So that big, big gap to the course record that was just set a couple of years back. Toohey, of course, went on, as you said, to NC State, and some collegiate success, still running as of today and doing well. But a lot of these names on this list have gone on to do great things, and Avery Lowen is continuing to motor on through here. Look at that drone shot. Well, we talk about not being in picture on the straight-on shot from the Gator. How about not even being in the picture from the drone shot? I mean, still way back. I think we may see a runner there, but it's his absolute dominance here from Avery Lowen.
Yeah, that chase pack has 3 girls in it. It's the twins, Jaslyn and Callista Garmer, the 2 Furman commits running for Webb of Knoxville, and then Ellen Latta, South Texas. So the battle that we anticipated still very much happening. It's just happening in that chase pack behind Avery Lowen, and Webb of Knoxville in particular is going to want to get 2 and 3, as they are very much in the mix of this team battle. But South Texas has a couple athletes in the top 15 as well. Got right now in 11th and 18th on that last timing map, but it's all Avery Lowen up front, as she is only 50 meters from the final turn.
Avery Lowen putting on a clinic here in the Race of Champions, this Great American Cross Country Festival, our second day of 2. We knew that she had the headlines coming in, and she is showing us why here. This is going to be a very, very impressive time. And as she comes through for the final count, she will be one of the fastest of all time. 16:27, just 5 seconds off of that long-standing course record from Caitlin Toohey. Before that was broken a couple years later, 16:02, the course record. But an incredible effort from Lowen. Now here comes this battle, as you talked about. You see the green jerseys of the Webb School as they go 2-3 with the Garmers coming on through to get some big, big points there for their squad.
As Mason Fletcher, who made a great move up that hill to move all the way to 4th for Herbert Hoover. Madeline Dorsch of Pinecrest in 5th. Lily Alder fades back to 6th, was in that chase group for so long, but doing really well to manage the hill. Not a lot of hills down in Texas for those Texas athletes that made their way up here. Iris Latta, 16th, fades a little bit on that hill as well. Ellen Latta in 8th. We're trying to eyeball singlets here. Got 3 for South Texas.
And just to stick with the individual side for a second, let's put it in perspective here. By my count, 11 athletes have gone under 17 minutes here in the girls' race. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 do it today with Lily Alder right at 17 minutes dead. So a bad result even from Alder down there in 6th. This was a fast day on this course. And it is coming down to it. You see the tally.
Good weather. You said a fast day on this course. We've had kind of dry conditions. The only kind of critique of this course is if it gets a little too wet. If we get too much rain, it does get pretty muddy. Ran on this course a couple times in high school and in college, and coached on it a couple times. Can definitely slow down if muddy, but we got that nice hard packed sand. Not quite track surface, but still pretty quick sand gravel, if you will. The hills slow it down certainly, but a very fast course.
So a number of athletes adding their names to the sub-17 club here at Wake Med. Top 15 or so by my count with these new additions. Led, of course, by Avery Lowen, 16:27. But Callista Garmer and Jaslyn Garmer coming through, barely separated those two in second and third, 16:50.0, 16:50.1. Mason Fletcher of Herbert Hoover was there in fourth. Madeline Dorsch of Pinecrest in fifth. All under 17 minutes, you can see on your screen there. And now, oh my, is this going to be that close? We'll let the points shake out, but it is going to be very tight between James Robinson and Webb.
Yeah, Webb obviously has the advantage of that 1-2 punch. The Garmer twins going second and third. I would have expected to see their number 3 athlete up a little bit farther, but there is a bit of a gap. Carolina Earhart finished in 33rd. Definitely a girl on her best day that can be in the top 10 of this race.
We take a look at how we got here early on. Avery Lowen made quick work of it, went straight to the front. We've seen other athletes fade, but not the likes of the number 1 runner in the nation, Avery Lowen. She just continued to pour it on and absolutely dominated. Really an all-time field here at Wake Med, and was the lone competitor left standing there at the very end.
There's always a challenge when you're ranked number 1. You've kind of got the weight on your shoulders, but Avery Lowen showed up today and showed us why she is number 1, dominating that field. She was very aggressive early, almost about 5 minutes for that first mile, but just kept pulling away more and more, and you saw it in that shot, just dominating victory.
Well, this race certainly delivered, as now the tally seems to be becoming a little bit clearer here with James Robinson opening up that gap just a bit. They will very likely take the victory. Again, the score will change certainly, but it looks like James Robinson's going to take victory. Webb of Knoxville with a solid performance. And these are good teams. Cardinal Gibbons, West Springfield, IMG down there in 6th as well. So, boy, this race delivered certainly on the individual side with some of the fastest times we've ever seen on this course, and on the team side as well. But James Robinson gets it done today. And Hayden, I mean, just Avery Lowen, just a junior. I mean, this is such an impressive continuation of her dominating season.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that setting that record at Wingfoot was just crazy. That's such a good course. So many great athletes have run on that course, so that is a very stiff record, but puts a cherry on top of it. I'm really interested to see how she runs postseason at the state championships down in Georgia on a very, very hard course. And then back, I guarantee, with running the Nike Southeast Regional back here on this course again. And then I will assume, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I will assume she will be out at nationals as well.
Well, the action continues here, and again, the girls' race certainly delivering here. If that didn't whet your appetite, you are not a fan of cross country. We move now to the boys' side of things, the race of champions, and some of the top teams, once again, multiple 20 teams in the nation.
IMG Academy and kind of an insight into their team in the JV race. A lot of running up front, a lot of young talent on that team, which when I see a good JV team, you got to immediately know there's 7 guys better than that, right? That's why those guys are in the JV race. But Christ School, very good as well. Jesuit, extremely good. Jesuit coming down from Louisiana, also excellent. You see your defending champion on your screen, Marcelo Manicon. He's certainly the athlete to watch, although he's going to be joined by a host of great talent. We mentioned IMG. That's Matthew Dodds, their lead runner. Kavi Gibson as well. That's going to be a really good battle. I would expect this to be a much closer race than what we just saw from the girls' race. Avery Lowen, certainly the class of that field, broke it up early. Both because I think there's a little bit more parity in the boys' race in terms of how close